I would imagine that a lot of these teams are going to drop on some vehicles and head out towards the east, obviously with the plane starting out a little bit towards the west.
Oh, absolutely.
And there being a lot of compounds that are going to be pretty good positions in this next circle, which is heavily central. We'll see if some teams do head out towards maybe even Hacienda. I think some teams have made their way up. I think that's Power 888 who have gone there. Water treatment open at the moment. Junkyard maybe even going out towards there. Minas Generales. You've got a lot of places.
There's a lot of compounds here, John.
Send out, and no one's really taken just yet.
I think that 100%. The big point there from you is that this is a central circle. Like you can have free reign what you want to do going forward. You don't have the foothills of Chumacera in this one. You don't have too many awkward positions to play around. Sure, you got you got the valleys of death just underneath Picado itself, but really most teams can kind of come back together. Squish themselves into a more homogenous form towards the end game, which is absolutely fine. I don't mind any of this. Team Secret is a team that I'm looking at. I've done that again today. Team Secret is a team I'm looking at going forward. I actually expect them to do pretty well here on Miramar. This is a map where I've seen them excel, and after that last game, I think they took a fair few fights, and I think with iShots cleaning up RRQ in that very cool little fashion, I think there's an opportunity here for them to kind of come off of the back of that with a little bit of momentum moving forward and do well here on Miramar, especially with the position they currently have where they can make their way into a lot of really decent spots around Hacienda del Patron, down towards Junkyard if it goes that way, because there's not many teams up towards Torre Armada. In fact, there's no teams up there, so they have a fairly easy rotational path east side.
Certainly do. 2 versus 1 currently in this compound between Nova XQF and Elites United team. I mean, in a 2 versus 1, my money's on Nova XQF every time in this situation, but given the fact that I don't think they know that there's a player here, it might be able to take it into a 1 versus 1. And with King being up the hill, if Order 6 goes down, that could be a pretty nice pickup there for the Elites United team. You can see that drop going towards each other just a little bit near Minas Generales and just south of Hacienda.
It's going to be a pretty peaceful game so far, John. I don't think we've had too many. I think most people have got that anger. Never mind.
That's far from peaceful. Very nice, very nice. Able to get the reload in, and now's the time to regroup with your team, right? You've got that pick. You need to fall back because you know that Nova XQF are going to be on the warpath.
Yep. I mean, they need to be on a warpath, John. If they want to make it to Super Weekend, the devs touched on it, and they were saying that, look, if Nova XQF don't start stepping up now, then there's going to be a big problem. Obviously, they've made some changes here, bringing King in instead of Cool Boy, and it's not worked out. They are towards the bottom of the leaderboards right now, I believe in 20th place coming into this game, now just losing a player in the 6th game of the day. It's not good at all.
There's a little bit of retribution for you. Cray goes low, goes down, Jimmy sprays it. Iron sights on the AKM, going to serve him nicely there. And it's now 3 versus 3 here towards the Minas Generales fight. Na'Vi, who we talked about earlier, dropping in El Pozo, they leave, not early, but they do leave at 5.5 minutes to move out east towards Power Grid. They've moved straight through Archer's split as well, so they managed to leapfrog that position and move a lot more central.
RRQ, on the other hand, like an armadillo, have kind of rolled their way over to the western side outside.
Armadillos do go west.
They do go west. They do cover themselves in sand too and try and hide it out, just like RRQ currently doing right now, which is fine. They saw a lot of teams roll up around them. They don't want to, forfeit losing players early on when they know they do best when they have 3 to 4 players in that late game where they can kind of finish things out, which is what you want to see from RRQ. And now they can start to come back into the circle. Now they know it's safe, unfurl from that armadillo-like form and start to crawl their way in.
Maybe armadillos don't turn into beautiful butterflies, but they'll try their best.
Oh, they do roll up into little balls though. Tactical armadillo balls.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Great. I love that. Very nice. Currently pinned down in the warehouse by Jimmy and King. Can't get over that.
Shh, it didn't happen. Okay. I was trying to explain.
Oh dear, try explaining to King why he's just been rattled down when Jimmy was holding the angle. It'll be fine, they'll get the knock and they'll get the flush as well, but That's unfortunate for King. Takes a little bit of damage to the armor. The rest of the Elite United team, 2 players remain, 47 and very good. They'll try and get what they can. They're still on the northern side, though, refusing to leave the area.
I mean, in this situation, if Nova can actually take this position just outside the graveyard, they have a fairly central spot. Stop laughing.
Not laughing. Promise.
It's being rude. Disgust me.
Hey, you said it.
No. Graveyard, it's a great position for Nova SQF. They can clear out the final member from E-Elite. Final 2 members from Elite's United team. And they won't have too many teams around them either. RQ currently just kind of skirting around on this western edge, right on the actual cusp of the circle at the moment.
Power 888 dropped in Picardo, and it looks like they are going to continue to have that sort of spread. They've got the hills to the north of the settlement at the moment, but they might want to think about homogenizing, coming back together, regrouping over on the northern side of Picardo in the middle. So
they don't actually drop in Picardo, they drop towards Power Grid, which gives them a really nice sight line down towards Picardo area. And then they can move down from there. And I mean, it's just those sight lines which are really important, which Bigetron need to be aware of. If they move down here too early, Bigetron might take a fight with them. But because they have that high ground in the first place, they have a lot of information.
Yeah, it's a big split. That's what the sort of area they cover of the map. Just making sure that they have all those sight lines, as you say. And now Na'Vi have moved into the northern edge of Power Grid by the looks of things, and they are looking to take control there towards the center. Next circle going to pop relatively soon.
That it will. We'll see where it goes and what kind of impact it will have on the remainder of the game. Footballist, very central. These guys are feeling super confident right now, John, and why wouldn't you? They're just coming off the back of a win. It was a really damn good win too. And a lot of times these teams, with confidence comes actual increased ability. Just because sometimes there's a peak that you might not take because you don't feel like, you know, I have the actual ability to do it. But once you have that confidence board, you're like, actually, I'm going to go for this. I know that I'm on fire today. I know that I'm on a hot streak. So it goes very, very central. Again, so it's really not going to impact the game too much. But what it will do is give Footballists, again, a really lovely position. Team Secret, it's a little bit stressful for them because they were hoping that using this northeastern side of the circle, they would have been able to rotate in fairly easily. But they immediately make a move down into the circle from the north side. Rex still up towards water treatment, still looting up, but I'm sure he will regroup very shortly.
And whilst Nova SQF circle... Oh, hang on a minute, King. He just rolls up on these Elite United players and just gets rattled down. That's pretty unfortunate there. Again, falling to an unfortunate roll up. But I was very impressed by looking at the map just now, how Power 888 actually did regroup. As soon as the circle popped, they pulled back together and they regrouped because they know that everyone's going to crunch a little bit more central. They need to get back together and make sure that they aren't going to be caught in those 1v1v1s and that sort of bad spot that they have been caught in before.
True. I mean, Power Grid is a really fantastic position as well, and a lot of times it's left quite early because it's uncertain whether it's going to be in the circle or not, and coming down from there is an absolute nightmare. But here on this circle, where it's looking more and more likely that they can actually use those hills, that mountainside to advantage, it's looking good. But back to Nova SQF, Jimmy finishes out very good. Now just 47 remaining. Powerboy leaping up on him.
Oh, he swings around the corner and there's no chance for 47. Takes him down straight away. Over XQF, they did lose a player early, which was very unfortunate actually. Order 6 going down as he did means that they are left with only 3 players. However, they are relatively uncontested in their area. Loop's the only team that's close by, but they're still about 600, 700 meters out. Are not really challenging for their position. However, the gunfire should have drawn a little bit of attention, and Loops will be aware of their position.
A little bit confused by Loops, to be honest with you, recently, just because it's that gung-ho playstyle that I'm really used to that just seems to have come completely out the window. They just don't feel like they're very confident in themselves at the moment, which is a complete opposite to Footballists at the moment, who are just taking any position they actually want. What I'm used from Loops is just hitting up positions like they did at the beginning of the day. Lee was talking to us about it backstage, where he just said they just sent it for a compound, and that was their compound. It was a decent one as well, but again, not able to hold on to it. So I'm going to see a little bit more out of Loops. And again, it's a questionable decision to bring in Golden. Again, not that Golden's a bad player, but just because Dean was doing so much.
They're still, as I said, sat up in 11th, 23 points for now, 7.7 average. So they are up there. They are keeping it going, keeping on trucking. And that's all you need, really, to be able to see yourself safe into the Super Weekend. So hopefully they'll be able to continue that just a little bit. Footballists, though, sat atop our tables. They've had a really strong day today, Blank. They have really come out swinging off the back of not being in that first Super Weekend. So, hang on a minute. Have I just lied to you?
About what?
But anyway, yeah, they've done very, very well today. 22 points on average.
That was about the most northern I've been in quite a while, actually. About what?
About what? No, but at 66 points total, currently sat, I believe that's, 24 points, actually, above the second place team, 4 Angry Men. To get a 22-point average is absolutely insane. However, it is only 3 games, and all of those 3 games they've popped off, but it is only 3 games.
Yeah, 22-point average, like I was saying, I was going to mention that, is ridiculous. And again, they're doing it what most teams that we have seen succeed do very well, which is where they have this 31 kill points to 22 to around about, so I believe that's 35 placement points. So they're keeping it very even at the moment. 4 AM, on the other hand, very, very different in terms of that way. They've got 11 kill points on board as well as 31 placement points. So it's kind of unlike them, but they are still just trucking away, just like crunching away at those numbers, trying to stay towards the top of the leaderboard. Again, they just need to get into Super Weekend where they can pop off after that.
The hard southeastern shift there towards La Bandita and the crater over there means that Loops, who had their forward scout over towards Graveyard, have brought themselves all the way back and gone further down right into the middle of that circle now. Look at this northern shift, Blank. I mean, on the minimap, what have you got? 3 teams here. Team Secret, Execute, and Na'Vi all moving past San Martin, past Hacienda del Patron, and they're going to hit straight into Footballist on the northern side, who are currently standing off with Nova XQF.
Yeah, both these teams have nice little vantage points, Overwatch, to look down onto the other teams as they come on in. Again, this is an interesting circle to finish on, though. We obviously, Minas Generalis with the crater over on this side. You still have the valley just outside of Picardo, which is kind of unplayable area in this zone itself. DRS trying to make their way in too. You got Footballers just taking shots off towards Na'Vi, who are trying to make their way in. They are very close to Team Secret right now.
Old boy certainly around the party boss, finds one, looks for the spray onto the other, but can't quite get it. Don't think the rest of Na'Vi are going to slow down and find anything else, but they've managed to actually pull up. One of them who's still sat behind at the moment is Matic. Looking to pop the tyres on that buggy, but the off angles might just come through. Na'Vi really struggling to make their way through here. Only Matic now standing. Sorry, Dixie, no, is still alive and kicking, but for how long? Matic needs to get some healing on board. Oh dear, Team Secret have been spotted. I think that might be Execute now coming through. This is the northern set of teams that were so close together, and it's all come to a head now, Blank.
Sulke actually moving up with the rest of the team of Footballers to hold out the teams on the northern side. If they can control the north side of this circle, it makes their lives so much easier. That is Na'Vi out. Team Secret taking casualties too. Execute want to make their way in, but regardless of what happens here, they're going to crash into a brick wall in the form of Footballers if they even want to get into the circle, which is why I'm liking this movement from Zute. He's going to head down on the west side of the circle. Sure, this position is within that area that said was a little bit more unplayable, which is that valley just outside of Picardo, but it means they can make their way into the circle and start to make decisions afterwards rather than try and take this fight with Footballers.
Well, and you can see the minimap on your screens right now. The circle shifted out to the west of the La Bendita crater. And Loops have a pretty dominant position on the northern side, but there's going to be plenty of teams trying to push through. I imagine that Execute and Team Secret are going to sort of split, and Nova XQF diminish slightly in power, might just play on that crater edge. So Loops should be relatively unchallenged here. A1 on the western side. They have a ridgeline and they're playing it nicely, nice and spread. They can fall it back and back each other up pretty well here.
Archers struggling. RRQ have made a big rotation once again. They're now on the southeast side of the circle. Remember, they start in El Pozo, so they have to swing all the way around. It's good stuff from them. They've been able to avoid a lot of teams like Blue Bees as well as DRS, survive with 4 members. They can start to play around the just edge of this crater, but they do have to get rid of Godsend to do that in the first place. Nova, XQF, very happy with their current position. Bigetron just bullying Archers at the moment.
RRQ did lose a player in the meantime, so they aren't unscathed in all of this. G9 going down a little bit earlier. But Archers, you're right, they are just being guarded out here. There's very little luck for them. A long nade, and there's no way that Unsu gets rezzed up there. Will go down to the play zone. Fabian now trying to push in, but Ryzen and Zuxi are holding the line. Zuxi into the buggy. gets away with it. They'll be able to send on in. All 4 players of Bigetron still standing.
Just look at the map here, John. There's that loot crate right in the middle, but most players and most teams want to play around the edge of this circle purely because of the ability that what affords you in terms of the high ground at the moment. Nice shots that come through from Micro Boy though onto Archers. Fabian desperately trying to get away.
Might just be able to do so, but out of the frying pan into the fire towards A1, and will just get spotted out from that massive ridgeline that they are holding. Decides instead to hit the deck, not in the next zone, so will have to move forwards a little bit further if he wants to get away with it. But both Bigetron and A1, they put their differences aside and they're like, there's a little morsel. We both want a snack. Let's see who gets it.
Look at this map though, oh my god, the southeast side is just ridiculously jam-packed at the moment. And it's even more jam-packed considering the fact that this crater on the east is just squeezing all these teams together. Airwolf Limax have a generally good position though in that circle itself on the south side, trying to hold out Bluebees.
At the moment though, there's a lot of action popping off on the northern edge. It's the standoff between Footballist and Power Triple Eight on the hillside. Footballist, they try to push in from the north, and Power Triple Eight actually getting sent up north by A1. And it looks like Footballists are coming off all the worse here. 2 players down either side, and look at that, nades continue just to ring on through. They're having their bells rung right now, Blank, and Footballists going very, very low, but Loops are on the way, and they might just want to challenge this fight as well. Solke still standing. Last player now for his squad.
Jeez, Solke has been an absolute tear the entirety of today. I mean, he is down to just himself at the moment, but he's been doing, goddamn, a lot of work for them. A1, I'll take some fights themselves. That's Archers now going out. Bluebees right on the edge of the circle, just trying to live as long as possible. And everyone's hoping for a circle that favors them. But no, goes right center once again. We have just been squeezing on the circle. No one's currently there, so this traffic jam on the southeast side will have to start to move. That herd, Nova S2F currently in the front side though. With the Overwatch still, it's going to be super important to try and get some of the kill points on board, try and bump themselves up those standings.
Bigetron still continuing to fight on that southwestern edge. They need to push through A1, who have that strong hillside. They'll have to challenge for that ridgeline and move through quickly.
So Dardine is currently in for Loops.
And Golden.
So they're kind of, it feels like they might just be experimenting.
RRQ trying to crash onto Nova XQF at the moment, and 2 players have gone down. I don't think they're going to be able to get much further. D2E last standing. Senior crawls his way up the hill, trying to scout for his teammate, but in the bushes, really going to struggle to get anything done. Nova XQF on 3 players, but those 3 are going to stand strong against RRQ's 3.
Yeah, they have a lovely little position here within the circle. And now teams over on the northeast side start to fight. Godsent just crawl their way out of their hole, and now they're starting to do stuff, which is absolutely fine. They spent a lot of time inside the crater avoiding teams, and now they're going to start to emerge, start to take some fights, and Godsent have been doing pretty good today, actually.
They're doing pretty well. See if they can keep up form. Currently sat in 10th, 8.7 average, but they have one more game to prove themselves. Aerowolf Limax clashing with the Bluebees, but as Bigetron finally pushing this fight to a head, 2 players go down, and it's actually Loops just plinking away. I think he was able to find one of those to steal for the points, but A1 get eliminated nonetheless. Luxy forward position, but able to hit the deck and save himself from further damage, from further punishment. Power Triple Eight rock up into the foothills as well, and a lot of damage being sent their way. But they're still just standing strong and making sure that they're covered off from all the angles they need to be. However, the circle is at their back. Loop is at their back.
Loops, if they can get rid of this last player from Power Triple Eight, they will control the entirety of the northern side. But, you know, there are still players from Power Triple Eight towards the west side of this circle, and they need to start coming back together once again. They need to hold at least a certain portion. Team Secret finally go down on that northeast edge. They were desperately trying to make their way in after taking so many casualties. They got really unlucky with the circles, sadly, but, you know, just not able to make it work. Na'Vi actually got the jump on them earlier on, and I just feel like Team Secret had a rough time as soon as those circles started not going their way.
Bigetron now continuing to push forwards. They know there's pressure on Power Triple Eight as Zute continuing to rock through for Execute. Another kill goes over towards Bigetron. They're on 10 right now, Blank. This southwestern throw's going very well, and actually the shift goes straight their way as well. Zute's going to be chuffed with that. Last player for his team, but right in the center of the circle, so he'll be able to survive for just that little bit longer, won't be forced to make a rotate. The question is, do teams push in for that spot?
This area is so choppy, though, in terms of rock formation. So many players can hide and ditch. You can see Zute down there, but it kind of moves down on a slant. So most teams are going to try and stay on the edge for as long as possible, shoot any teams or stragglers that are trying to hide within the circle itself that don't have that manpower to hold the edge.
Godsent with all 4 players on the northeastern side looking to push in, but you've got Loops as well to contend with. Down to 2, by the way. In the midst of that, they did lose another player. Only 2 kills so far. The rotations have been on point, but they've got a little bit further to go. RRQ do get eliminated. They had been busted down to 1, and that's that final point picked up. Corply running around in the open fields right now, and it's Ryzen to pick up the point. Ices as well, trying to duck around in the foothills. 2 solo players, both in the zone.
Bluebees go out. They've been steady away today, though, John. Currently starting this game in 7th place, which is not bad. Not a bad change for Bluebees themselves. I just hope that they don't have one of those things they had last week where they had one good day and then the weak day afterwards. And hopefully they can continue that momentum into tomorrow. But looking at the teams that's still alive. Nova XUF jumping around the corner. What a sick shot.
As you do, but Jimmy goes down. Nima soon to follow, though. Paraboy looks for the res onto Jimmy, keeping them 3 strong. They're on 10 kills as well. Bigetron being given a run for their money on this Miramar. Oh, Isis pops up and actually gets a knock there, but it's not going to get any more. Ryzen punishes. 15 kills found for Bigetron, and there's so many more to find. This could be one of the biggest kill chicken dinners we've seen so far.
Yeah, 15 kills is absolutely unreal, and we need to talk about Bigetron now. Their day has been fairly quiet. Sure, they made it pretty far in that Arango game, but you know, we haven't had those pop-off moments from them. Miramar is one of their favored maps. This is where they start to do a lot of work, and they certainly showed that in the SEA qualifiers. And here, with 16 kills now, like you said, this could be a crazy high win for them.
I think the highest we've had so far was 19. Correct me if I'm wrong. It might be 18. I'd have to double check on that stat specifically, but they're certainly on track to maybe get a little bit more. All 4 players alive and no other full squads. You've got 3 players from Godsent, 2 players from Nova XQF, but that's it.
Now, there's a potential of 7 kills still left in this lobby for Bigetron, but Jimmy takes away Pow. So that's Aerowolf Limax now out, going down in 5th.
Looking for a little bit more. Zute is just hiding in this shack, and he's managed to ladder up incredibly well here. They haven't got any kills, but they're getting some placement points on the cards, and that is what matters. If you're Execute, you just want to see yourself safe. Yep. They're on a 10-point average right now, and they're looking like they might be on track to get another 10 here.
Remember, let's go way back to when Zute made that move to move down to the west side. The rest of his team just got absolutely decimated by Footballist, and Team Secret and Navi were all trying to clash against one another. Zute makes an executive decision and says, look, I'm going to ladder up. You distract them here. I'm going to move forward, get into the circle. And that's exactly what he does. Zute is so good at finding an area and just, you know, pincering in, finding that location and holding it down afterwards to ladder up. It's so good.
Bigetron are 31 points behind Footballist right now on the tables. And if they're able to close it out here, if they won it right now, they would be exactly even and lose on the... it's not the kills anymore, is it? It's chicken dinners.
Chicken dinners.
In fact, they would be tied even and then go to placements. So I think they would actually win it out if it did go to placements there. We'll have to double check on the numbers. But if they get another kill, that would see them into first place. We'll see what more they can do, because at the moment, Paraboy is doing his best to take all of those points away from Bigetron and into Nova XQF's pocket.
Nova XQF, remember, this is an important game for them. I mentioned at the beginning of the cast, but these guys really want to make their way up this standard, up these ladders right at the moment. But Paraboy going down is horrific for them. Zute, though, finds one onto Bigetron. They know his position now. There's 4 players up there. 3 will start to descend upon him. It's going to be very difficult.
What more can Zute do? I just don't think it's possible. There we go. Finally picking up another kill. That's 17 now found. And Bigetron continue their rampage right now, but it's 12 kills from Nova XQF. They have 2 players standing. It's Paraboy who's been knocked and Jimmy going for that res. 1 player standing for Godsent right now who have a single kill. Navy looks to try and sail his way further, but no longer will he be able to keep going. And now Bigetron continue to put the pressure on. That's huge. Bigetron pick up the points, and they are looking set to take the top spot.
Absolutely, and it's as easy as that. Bigetron, they might get in that top 3, but they bounce back so quickly throughout the day. Really, really good stuff from them. I'm super